The Rangers try and set a club record with their 50th win tonight. If the Penguins win, they'll tie a franchise record for most points in a season at 89, set in 74-75. You know, they're only a point off last year's pace. And that was the season they finished first in the division and won the cup.
I think that would be a surprise to most hockey fans.
Yeah, you think of them as a cup winner last year, and that they were probably a lot better. Whoa, there's a roundhouse thrown at Ty Domi by Jay Caulfield. And Domi's going to go for a skate. Caulfield's held up by Gord Brosiker. And once again, Ty Domi has an opponent in the penalty box. In fact, right out of the game for now. Caulfield's being ushered right off the ice.
Number 16, Pittsburgh, Jay Caulfield,
.210 in the game for Caulfield, and nothing for Domi.
Take a look at how it happened. Domi just ducked. Caulfield had already lost his stick, was after Ty Domi, and ended up now going to the dressing room, and he's going to be there for a long time, and boy, that puts a crimp in his style of trying, or his attempt tonight to get a point.
Pretty much does it in, doesn't it? To get an extra 17 minutes in penalties, or excuse me, 22. Here it is again. Right off the faceoff, Caulfield wanted him. Domi wouldn't have any part of it, and Jay got mad and then got thrown out. That's the third time tonight that Domi's drawn an opponent into a penalty. He got Jennings in the first period. Early in the second, he got Loney, and now he's got Caulfield right out of the game.
He sits on the bench and just smiles as some of the boys come by to tap him on the shoulder.
He's got a smile like poison come to supper.
Well, if they can put the Rangers on the power play, they'll take that any day of the week.
Rangers 1 for 4 with a man advantage and working on the power play again. 5 minutes to go in the second period. Leach plays the puck over to James Patrick. Breaking up the play was Jennings to Trache, and he'll go for a skate, turns away from Tim Kerr and dumps the puck the length of the ice, or at least down into the Rangers zone. Leach and Patrick on defense. Kerr, Amonte, and Nemchinov up front of this power play unit. Kerr to Nemchinov, back to the point. Patrick's shot stopped by Wendell Young, who should be giving way to Ken Wregget any moment. Here's Troy Loney. Takes a shot over the shoulder of John Van Beesbrook. The shots in the game, by the way, are 28-17 in favor of the Rangers, and they hope to pile up some more. Nemchinov headed for the net, and he was poke checked by Wendell Young. Sergei Nemchinov. Front of the net, Tim Kerr has Amonte in front of the goal, trying to feed him the puck, but he's all tied up. Back to the point, James Patrick. Over to Brian Leach, faked the shot, passed it into Amonte. Patrick to Leach, shoots it, and Wendell Young makes the save. Troy Loney comes back for the puck. 45 seconds left in this power play for the New York Rangers, as the Penguins dump the puck the length of the ice, and the penalty killers get a chance to catch their breath. Less than 4 minutes to go, second period. Leach cuts to the slot, kicks the puck up on his stick, fell down, got up, and centered. Darren Turcotte. Leach for Amonte, and he was knocked down. Gartner in front of the net. Tried to poke at the puck and couldn't come up with it. And Beesbrook out of the net. Up the boards. Gartner let the puck go by, let Turcotte take over and carry it in. Joe Mullen gets a hold of the puck, but gave it away to Mike Gartner. Over to Chris King, his shot for the front of the net, bounced right to Gartner, and he couldn't get a shot away. Aaron Turcotte bumped and held in the corner, and the play is stopped with 3:06 left in the second period. The penalty has expired. Rangers are now 1 for 5 with a man advantage tonight.
You know, on that last shift, Sergei Nemchinov showed a great burst of speed as well as having some great abilities to just get up and go again, even though he was being dragged down at the time.
He's a good player.
Great player for them, and also added to their goal scoring abilities for this hockey club. 29 goals coming into tonight's game.
Another goaltending change. Ken Wregget is back in for the last 3 minutes and 6 seconds of period number 2. Roughly every 5 minutes, Bowman's able to change his goaltenders. Between the goaltenders and the penalties tonight, the timekeeper needs a computer and an assistant. Wregget out of his net to play the puck around to the boards. Jay Wells kept it in. Andy Gillen in behind the net. Puck was taken away by Stanton. Cleared, not out. Wells with a shot deflected. Didn't get through to the goal. Stevens out to center. Herdina to Jaromir Jagr, number 68. Holds up. Jagr trying to feed the front of the net. Fans are upset that Chris King was upset, and there'll be a penalty called for interference to Jari Herdina.
Chris King's not an easy guy to put down, but Herdina put the shoulder into him.
.221 the time left in the second period. 17:39 the time of Herdina's penalty, and we'll get a look at it.
What's this? Herdina showed great balance.
There's
not
the penalty.
Just once, but twice. Chris King was wondering what was going on. This guy they called George, all of a sudden, was pretty sturdy on his feet.
You know, despite the fact that there have been games that haven't meant anything in the standings in particular, in the last few nights, you notice the penalty totals all around the league? Ever since the guys came back from their work stoppage?
Really chippy.
They're really chippy hockey. Scotty Bowman pointed out today, too, that there is some other importance in these games, and that his team had to look ahead to who they might meet in the second round or third round of the playoffs. And you want to amass as many points as you can, because you may be third in your division and stuck there, but it doesn't mean you can't stay ahead of someone else if you get through to the final. Sure. You want to have home ice advantage.
That's a good point, too.
The Penguins are trying to make sure they stay ahead of Los Angeles.
Talk about the chippiness. Did you see that fan that came out of the stands and right across the ice?
That was
the game
scary.
was with the Nordiques the other night. It was scary and stupid, too.
A couple of minutes to go in the second period. Rangers are on a power play. They're 6th of the night. They're 1 for 5. Scored the 7th best power play in the league, led by Mike Gartner and 15 power play goals. Turcotte, Messier each have 12. Messier came close to getting his 13th.
Right in the slot. He found the puck and fired it quickly, but Wregget made a great save. You notice tonight, too, when Wregget goes out behind the net, he's just stopping the puck. He's not trying to handle it. He's moving it about 2 feet at the most and quickly gets right back into his net. He didn't have to do that on that occasion, of course. He just made a great save on Mark Messier.
There's Wendell, who will get some more action in the third period, apparently. He's been in 1, 2, 3, 4 different times he's been into the game. Minute and a half to go in this second period. It's 2-0 for the New York Rangers. Leach hounded by Ron Francis. Leach can really go, and he skates into the Pittsburgh zone. Tried to set up Messier, couldn't. Stays in on the puck. Gets some help from Gartner now. Turcotte's there as well. Back to the point. Patrick and Messier had the puck go between them and all the way down the ice. Here's Mark Messier cutting into the middle. Checked by Grant Jennings. Leach moves up right in front. They score! What a pretty goal! Turcotte from Leach.
can skate so easily. Doesn't even appear to put much effort in the way that he maneuvers out there. Spreads those legs open to get an even better balance, and then just moves that puck.
Point number 99 for Brian Leetch, and goal number 29 for Turcotte. You could bet they'll work hard to get Leetch's 100th point in the third period tonight.
And for Turcotte, when you think back to that great opportunity that he missed, the open net, that could have been a hat trick for him.
Yeah. Messier also gets a point. And now Mark is only 2 points shy of Jean Rattel's record for most points in a season by a Ranger, 109, and 3 points away from breaking that record. He's got a shot at it in the third, although it's more difficult than the milestone Leetch is gunning for. 3-0 Rangers. Down to the last 20 seconds of period number 2. Goal by Turcotte from Leetch, and Messier at 19:01 was scored on the power play, with Herdina for interfering with Chris King. Rangers are 2 for 6 with a man advantage, and the second period's coming to a close. Wells and Stevens push and shove each other as the horn sounds. Loney comes in because he doesn't want Stevens mixing it up with Wells.
18 for 2 periods of 32. Pittsburgh 8 for 2 periods of 18.
A laugher and a no-hitter has turned into a feisty affair with lots of anger being shown by both sides. The Rangers lead 3-0 after 2, and here's our host, John Wells.
And Turcotte has 2 goals to lead the Rangers so far tonight. They are definitely in control of this hockey evening at Madison Square Garden in New York. The Rangers have lost only 2 of their last 18 games here at home. Here's what's ahead in our second intermission from Madison Square. We'll check out scores and highlights from around the league with stops in St. Louis, San Jose, and Vancouver. Bob McKenzie drops by, and we'll look at postseason awards on Vantage Points. After 2, the Rangers lead the Penguins 3-0. This is the NHL Tonight.
Domino's Pizza may very well be the best tasting pizza in the whole world. Domino's Deluxe Pizza Feast, $9.99. 2 for $14.99. Experience the deal.
At Thrifty Car Rental, we understand how therapeutic vacations can be. Getting away from the little power plays, reassessing your personal goals. So to help make your vacation a relaxing one, Thrifty offers an extensive choice of vehicles at some remarkably reasonable rates. For the last thing you need to be doing on vacation.
More ice, Mr. Gretzky?
Maybe later.
Is worrying about money.
Imagine visiting yourself in the future.
Still in the rat race?
Hey, you're me.
At 55. We look pretty good. Oh, retirement agrees with me. Retirement? How can we afford that? Freedom 55.
London Life's Freedom 55. Protection today, plus a financial plan that works, so one day you won't have to. Freedom 55, only from your London Life representative.
So, when did we start jogging? Right after the twins arrived. Twins?
You're up. You're 3 for 3. And you've got the most feared Easton bat of all. So you figure you'll get his best pitch. The high, hard one. But what if it's a curve or a changeup? No sweat. Everybody knows there's no known defense against an Easton, right? Wrong.
We don't start making your pizza until you make the call. Domino's Pizza, time to perfection. Experience the hustle of your Domino's Pizza team.
Welcome back to our TSN Control Center. Jim Van Horn along with Bob McKenzie. He's going to be talking a little bit later, but first of all, we're going to check in on the game between the St. Louis Blues and the Minnesota North Stars. You saw Brett Hull score his 70th goal of the season. We're going to pick up the action midway through the first period. This is live action from KMSP. Dave Hodge and Joe Micheletti.
Pointed to center ice, and that's where the puck is. We're going to see a penalty shot.
Well, right off the draw here, the North Stars win the faceoff, and they're going to get an opportunity. Here's Bellows with the long shot. Now there's the save by Joseph right there. Now this is Brett Hull coming. Oh, he's calling it on Joseph for throwing the stick. That's the call. It looked like Brett Hull was going to go off for holding. But Todd Ellick had the puck, and he waited for Joseph to go down. Joseph committed and slid all the way over. And Todd Ellick made a smart play just holding onto the puck. And Joseph ended up throwing his stick. And that's the call by Dan Maruelli. A good call.
So a chance for the North Stars to tie on a penalty shot. And no matter what the reason, it's great to see penalty shots in NHL play. I don't suppose that Curtis Joseph for the Blues like it particularly at this point, but the fans will enjoy watching this, and they'll love it. Of course, if Joseph makes a save, the North Stars just as anxious to make sure that doesn't happen.
Now, you don't have to be a lip reader to understand what Brian Sutter was saying there. He doesn't like the call, but on the replay, it turned out to be a good call by Maruelli, and Todd Ellick is going to get the opportunity on Curtis Joseph. And you know, Dave, I wish we'd see more of these.
Here he comes, Todd Ellick, with the fans standing and cheering Curtis Joseph.
Now Curtis Joseph leads the league in saves, and here's one more. He stoned him. He didn't have a chance. Alec tried to get Joseph to commit. Watch Curtis Joseph stay right with him. Look at this. There's nothing there.
Big stop on the penalty shot by Curtis Joseph. Blues are really looking to him to lead them against the Chicago Blackhawks in the first round.
You know, it's really funny the way things work out. You know, a year ago, Ed Belfour was the talk of the town. Ed Belfour won the Vezina, the most wins in the league. Chicago, the top defensive team. Now going into a playoff series between the Chicago Blackhawks and the St. Louis Blues, it's Ed Belfour who has to prove himself. And Curtis Joseph, a guy who at the beginning of the season was offered up as part of the compensation package to the New Jersey Devils for signing Brendan Shanahan. The arbitrator ended up going with Scott Stevens, and the Blues would like to come back now and say, see, we told you he was a great goaltender. New Jersey should have taken him. The arbitrator should have made the award, but if they knew he was going to do that, they wouldn't have put him up in the first place, so it goes both ways. But a real interesting scenario going into the playoffs.
Brett Hull's goal still stands, his 70th of the season. St. Louis leads Minnesota 1-0 late in the first period now. We'll take a break and come back with more on Molson NHL Tonight on TSN.
The pasta.
They loved it.
The sauces.
They're great.
The cooking.
So easy.
Introducing McCain Pasta Magic. Simply microwave the sauce, run the frozen pasta under hot water for a few seconds, and magically, tender, just right pasta. Combine them for perfect pasta and perfect sauce.
Fettuccine.
Alfredo.
Pasta salad. My next topping.
New McCain Pasta Magic. Delicious, perfectly prepared pasta and sauce in less than 3 minutes.
It's magic.
It's McCain.
Folks, if you like Rock'em Sock'em 1 and 2, you're going to love Rock'em Sock'em 3. It's a beauty. Coach's Corner's in there. Lots of hits and goals. And my buddies Troy Crowder and Bobby Probert drop in for an appearance. And wait till you see my all-time tough team. Rock'em Sock'em 3, you're going to love it.
When I head for the showers, there's only one shampoo and conditioner I take. Pert Plus. Sure, I've tried some other 2-in-1s, but with Pert Plus, I get better lather. And to me, that means hair that's really clean. Pert Plus beats them hands down. And these other 2-in-1s, there's no question Pert Plus conditions better. Pert Plus beats them too. Look, why settle for anything else when I get cleaning and conditioning like this with Pert Plus, a winning combination for great-looking hair.
Gave my son a Honda generator. It'll power everything from a sander to a saw to a whole cottage. Gave my daughter a Honda lawnmower. It has every safety and performance feature, even something called a hydrostatic transmission. And they gave me this fuel-efficient Honda outboard. Powerful, quiet, and virtually emission-free, so it won't pollute the lake. Thank them. Even though they did it to get me out of the way, it doesn't bother me a bit.
Two other games to be played later tonight to wind up the regular NHL season. Winnipeg is at San Jose. That game getting underway at 10:35 Eastern Time, and the Calgary Flames will wind up their season with a game against the Canucks in Vancouver, also starting at 10:30 Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Now, we're going to be talking about awards later on Vantage Point with Jim and Gary, but one of the awards that already has been determined is the scoring race, led by Mario Lemieux, who is not playing tonight in the game. And what do you think his status is heading into the playoffs?
Well, they're saying that he's got a bruised shoulder, and there's no doubt that he does have a bruised shoulder. But certainly Mario Lemieux's had a lot of health problems this year with his back on and off again. And going into the playoffs, there's a very real doubt whether he can play in every playoff game. Now, the good thing for the Pittsburgh Penguins is that they can, in a short-term situation, get along without him. They've got so much offense. Kevin Stevens, Jaromir Jagr, Joey Mullen have really picked it up. But what's really impressed me about the Pittsburgh team, and we'll find out whether it yields anything in the playoffs, is that once again, Craig Patrick changed the complexion of that hockey team at the trade deadline. They picked up Rick Tocchet, they picked up Al Samuelson, they got some toughness, they got some added defense, and I really think that that's going to help them in the playoffs.
Goaltending is going to be very important, and it's something that every team says they have to have good goaltending during the course of the playoffs. Why would Scotty Bowman decide to alternate goaltenders tonight, sit out Tom Barrasso, who's probably going to be their #1 guy, through the playoffs? I mean, that just goes against all normal reasoning.
Well, Scotty sometimes has unique ways about him. I'm not quite sure, but I would think that Barrasso is the guy they're going to go with. They're giving him a rest tonight, and they're allowing the other two guys to get the feel of the ice and to get involved in a game that otherwise might not have a lot of meaning. So I would suggest that Barrasso's the guy that's going to win it or lose it for them, although if he gets in any trouble at all, Wregget will be the next one they go to.
Is that going to be the same situation for Kirk McLean in Vancouver? He's been their #1 guy all year long.
Kirk McLean will likely go tonight against San Jose, and he will likely go all the way through for Vancouver unless he falters.
Patrick Roy in Montreal, they have to depend on him if they're going to get out of their division.
No question about that one.
But it's goaltending. It's a very strange situation what Scotty Bowman is doing tonight. We've got the Vantage Point coming up. Jim and Gary are going to talk about the NHL awards with Molson NHL tonight on TSN. Continues after this.
It's time now to test your hockey knowledge with Domino's Pizza Trivia. Tonight's question is, in the history of the NHL playoffs, the penalty shot is a rare occurrence. How many have there been? We'll have the answer right after this.
Do you want your pizza quick? Or would you really rather have it good and quick? Domino's Pizza. Good and quick. Quick and good. Experience the quality of Domino's Pizza.
Only 25 shots have occurred, and just 9 have been successful. Hockey Trivia brought to you by Domino's Pizza of Canada. Experience the Domino's effect.
No other minivan has won the hearts of so many Canadian families. Built in Canada by Canadians, the best-selling Chrysler Magic Wagon now carries another proud achievement. Winner of the Canada Award for Business Excellence in Quality. Chrysler, all you have to do is drive one. Now get factory financing or $1,000 cash back.
Gillette presents Sensor, the system, the technology that will change the way you shave forever. Sensor, twin blades set on springs to read your face and respond. Independent suspension to sense and adjust to every curve of your face. No other razor comes close. Gillette Sensor, for the best shave a man can get.
I love to ski, but I race to win. It's the same with what I drink. McCain Punch. McCain's the winner for me. I tried others, but I prefer McCain for the taste. trust McCain quality from my guests.
McCain Punch, made with pure fruit juices from concentrate. Taste and quality win every time.
Time now for Jim and Gary and TSN Vantage Point from New York. As the regular season winds up tonight, the ballots are in for the NHL's Individual Player Awards. Tonight, a look at who will win the Hockey Oscars for Best Performance.
Officially, the voting is done by the Professional Hockey Writers Association. About half of the votes for the awards were in before the strike, and writers do get a chance to change a ballot by tomorrow if they want to, and still half of them to come. Broadcasters vote on one award, the Coach of the Year, and the general managers vote on the Vezina. And in a year when 6 or 8 teams could win the Stanley Cup, it's just as hard to pick individual award winners, isn't it? There's so many good players.
And we might surprise you even with a few of our selections.
Okay, let's look at the awards then, and first see the nominees for the Selke Award for the Best Defensive Forward in the National Hockey League. The nominees are Guy Carbonneau, 2-time winner and the best defensive team in the league. Kelly Buchberger of Edmonton scored 20 goals and was a plus player on a checking line against the other team's best lines. Ron Francis of Pittsburgh, somebody on the Penguins has to check and take the big face-offs, and he's done both well. And the winner is?
Our winner is Guy Carbonneau, a consistent 20-goal scorer who's starting to like this trophy. The Vezina Trophy is awarded to the best goaltender in the league, voted by the general managers. Our nominees are Patrick Roy with a 2.36 goals against average, leading the league. Not far behind that goals against average, Kirk McLean, 2.75, who led his Canucks to a first-place finish in the Smythe, and Bob Assenza with a 2.87 goals against average, who backstopped the Jets into a playoff spot. And the winner is?
Patrick Roy of the Montreal Canadiens, a $1 million goalie who's worth every penny of it. The Adams Trophy goes to the National Hockey League's Coach of the Year. This was a tough category, and the nominees are Pat Quinn, 4th overall, a division championship for Vancouver. Roger Nielsen led the Rangers to first place overall for the first time in 50 years. And Brian Murray, as general manager, assembled the talent in Detroit, then found ice time for the all-star centers and got them to first place in the Norris Division. And the winner is?
Pat Quinn, the coach, general manager, and president of the Vancouver Canucks, and he might well be considered the executive of the year as well in the National Hockey League. Let's go on to the Calder Trophy, the Rookie of the Year, and we should note that this year that you had to be less than 26 years of age prior to the start of the season. The nominees are Tony Amonte with 35 goals, 34 assists, and who has complimented Mark Messier well here with the Rangers. Pavel Bure, maybe the fastest player in the National Hockey League, 33 goals and 25 assists. He has led in a long way and got started off a little late in the NHL season. Also, Nicholas Lidstrom, to get 60 points as a defenseman in your first year is a remarkable performance. The winner is?
Pavel Bure of the Vancouver Canucks. For a time, people said if he'd played the whole season, he'd win. He doesn't have to, and he should. The Norris Trophy goes to the best defenseman in the National Hockey League. The nominees are Brian Leetch of the Rangers. He's joined the elite like Coffey, Bourque, and McInnes in the group of superstar defensemen and making 100 points. Scott Stevens, St. Louis, misses him badly. So did the Devils when he was hurt. His presence is a must in New Jersey. And Phil Housley on the league's 19th ranked offense contributed 85 points. The Jets are in big trouble without him. And the winner is?
Brian Leetch, who is second in scoring to Mark Messier here for the New York Rangers. And when he broke into the National Hockey League, a lot of people felt that too much pressure was placed on him by saying that he was going to be just like Bobby Orr. Now to the Hart Memorial Trophy for the player deemed the most valuable to his team. The nominees are Mark Messier. His leadership qualities are unquestionable. 107 points so far leading the New York Rangers. Kirk McLean, no question about his abilities to backstop, and has this year for the Vancouver Canucks, leading them to the Smythe Division. So far, first place. Jeremy Roenick, 53 goals and 50 assists, and his heart has been without question with the Chicago Blackhawks. The winner is?
The winner is Mark Messier. The Rangers are first overall. He owns the town, and after he wins the Hart, he may just win the Conn Smythe Trophy in the playoffs as well. That's our look at who might win the awards that will be presented, and in the note they are voted on after the regular season, not including the playoffs. John?
Undoubtedly, the Rangers will receive consideration for some individual awards, but the trophy most needed in this city after 52 long years is the Stanley Cup, and they have a shot at that, too. After 2 in New York, the Rangers lead the Pittsburgh Penguins 3-0. And live from Madison Square, this is the NHL Tonight on TSN.
Madison's Special Dry, the evolution of beer.
Domino's Pizza may very well be the best tasting pizza in the whole world. Domino's Deluxe Pizza Feast, $9.99. 2 for $14.99. Experience the deal.
3M salutes the Olympic athletes who found a better way. Whose ideas were so original, there's no going back. That same innovative thinking helped us invent fiber optic products like FiberLock, a vital link in worldwide communications. 3M, innovation working for you.
Get the big picture. Sports Desk on TSN. 7 times daily during the week, 5 times on the weekends. We've got you covered.
2 goals in the second period, both for the Rangers. Darren Turcotte got them both, in fact. His 28th from Mike Gartner, who got his 500th career assist at .344. Then late in the period, 19:01, Turcotte got his 29th from Brian Leach and Mark Messier to make it 3-0. Shots in the second period favored the Rangers 18-8 over the Penguins. The Penguins have been outshot 32-18 in the absence of Mario. Jim?
And Mario is apparently going to be fine for Sunday night's first game of the playoffs against the Washington Capitals, but he's not in here tonight. More penalties handed out at the end of the second period. Jay Wells doing some pushing and shoving with the New York Rangers' Troy Loney, and they each got 10-minute misconduct. So there's been 120 minutes in penalties so far in this game, many of them in misconducts. Ken Wregget starts period number 3 for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He'll undoubtedly be out of there soon, as he and Wendell Young alternate about every 5 minutes. And John Van Beesbrook hasn't allowed a goal, and he's in goal for the New York Rangers. Here's a centering pass to Yager, and he's stopped by Van Beesbrook. And Jan Eriksson collects the puck and sends it down the ice. Gartner sprints after it, hits for the goal, stopped by Wregget, who holds on.
Gartner was forced to go to his backhand. And so, once he got it away, Wregget was able to just get his body in front of it. Watch, that puck was rolling as well, so Mike really never got good wood on that backhand, had to just bat that puck.
What a season. He helped negotiate a contract, played in his 1,000th game, got his 1,000th point, his 500th goal, 500th assist, and oh, he dearly, dearly loved to get a Stanley Cup ring, too. Trache is carrying the puck for the Penguins. He was stopped by Gartner. Seemed to take the puck for a stick on the ankle, and it stung a little bit.
He and Gartner got to know each other pretty well during those negotiations.
Yeah. They were side by side at every press conference and in most meetings. Here's Kevin Stevens with a long shot that put the defenseman Bukaboom down, and he limps off to the bench. Gordon Roberts, the puck carrier in his own zone, to Jaromir Jagr. He flicks the puck on a backhand into the Rangers zone. Phil Bourque overskated, and Brian Leach comes back to collect the puck. Leach up to Turcotte. Here's a breakaway pass. Messier's in, but he's just offside.
Well, the fans kind of groaned after that one. They were hoping that they'd see Mark Messier, their hero, in alone on that breakaway opportunity.
Jeff Bukaboom took the shot in the ankle, and you see him in some pain. Right on the skate laces.
The coaches always fear in a nothing game, especially the last game of the regular season, is having a key player injured in it and unavailable for the start of playoffs. Bukaboom's in some pretty good pain there.
Early in the third period, and the Rangers leading the Penguins 3-0. Watch the Rangers try and set up Brian Leach for his 100th point of the season. He got his 99th in the second period. Here he is with the puck now, ahead to Messier. With just a couple of points off a club record for points in a season at 109. He has 107. 109, he ties Jean Rattel's record. Gary Herdine is the puck carrier with Mullen and Bob Airy. Turn back. Turcotte to Messier. Amonte's with them. Graves was tossed out, sitting out of misconduct. So he's not back on his line yet. There's Leach with a shot. He scores! And he's got his 100th point of the season.
Took the pressure off early in this third period. Brian Leach with that shot from the point. Not only gets his point, but he did it in the fashion that he's shown often. Good abilities to get that puck away from the point. He just used his wrist shot, and he's got a good one.
2:26 of the third period. Brian Leach has joined Bobby Orr, Dennis Potvin, Paul Coffey, and Al McInnes as the only defenseman in the history of the National Hockey League to score 100 points in a season. He'll get another thundering ovation now. Unassisted at 2:26. Takes the pressure off. We don't have to worry about going down to the dying seconds. 4-0 Rangers. Here's Ty Domi to Chris King. Into the middle. Weak shot on goal. Wregget stopped that. Now they'll announce Brian's 100th point. Time to leave.
We believe satisfaction goes beyond the best bumper-to-bumper protection in Canada, or the best coverage on major components, or even free roadside assistance around the clock. It goes as far as the Nissan Satisfaction Commitment, the most comprehensive full-line customer care program ever, and standard on every 1992 Nissan, because we believe warranty should protect the people who drive the cars, not the people who make them. Nissan, built for the human race.
Brian Leach now has 100 points. He just stood up and saluted the fans for a standing ovation he got while we were away. But a great season. He may cap it off with a Norris Trophy and has a shot at the Stanley Cup. Carrying the puck for Pittsburgh, dumps it in on goal, and John Van Beesbrook holds on.
Well, you know, when fans of Brian Leach marveled at his abilities coming into the National Hockey League, and then even, I think it was Phil Esposito that had indicated at the time that he thought that he was, in fact, another Bobby Orr, was going to be another Bobby Orr. When you watch Brian Leach play and his abilities to skate and shoot the puck and go end to end, there are, without question, similarities.
So a big milestone for Gartner tonight as he got his 500th assist, and Leach got his 100th point. Messier could still get his milestone tonight. Brian Trottier is only 2 points away from, or 2 assists shy, rather, of 900 in his NHL career. He'd be 5th overall in assists. And is actually, but he'd be the 5th to get to 900. Centering pass for Gartner, and he's fallen down in front of the net. Slid by the goal. Jaromir Jagr, number 68, wheels and passes the puck to Paul Stanton. Stanton into the middle. Kevin Stevens, he was checked. Sergei Nemchinov to his right winger Mike Gartner. Eriksson coming up behind him. Gartner holds on, centers, Nemchinov, backhand shot, and Wregget stopped that. Gartner the boards. Over for the puck is Stanton, who moved it out to center. Mark Hardy with James Patrick back on defense. Rangers are on a change. Messier came off the bench, couldn't take the puck through the middle. Stevens turns, looks for a long pass and makes it. There's a shot just wide of the net by Yuri Hrdina on a fine pass from Kevin Stevens. Almost 5 minutes into this third period. Rangers 4, Penguins nothing. Messier, to Tony Amonte. Turcotte out with them. Amonte trying to center, couldn't do it. He was checked. Shell Samuelson moved the puck ahead, and here's Joe Mullen leading a 3-on-2 Penguin rush. Splits to defense, heads for the goal, passes it off for Stevens, and he couldn't get a shot away. Back comes Messier. The goaltenders have just changed on the fly. Wendell Young is in the net. Centering pass, and he stopped it. That's unbelievable. I knew he'd try and do it sooner or later. 5-minute mark came and went, and as the Rangers tried to fight off a 3-on-2, Wregget came out and Wendell Young came in, only to find Mark Messier leading a 3-on-1 in on it. How about that?
That might be a first.
You gotta love it. Here's Sean McEachern. They're on Francis. His shot was blocked by Brian Leach. Out to Messier. Tim Kerr is wide on his right side, and Messier turns back at the blue line. Moving up is Hardy as Messier skates through center and is watched by Sean McEachern.
Can you imagine how difficult this is for scorers out there? All of a sudden you're heading down at a breakaway and you're going to go high because Young's weak high, and all of a sudden, oh no, it's not him. We've got to go low. It's Wregget.
Shot from just inside the blue line went wide of the net. It's 4-0 Rangers as the season comes to a close, the regular season. 13:45 left in the third period on the NHL tonight from Madison Square Garden. Game's been anything but boring. Sean McEachern. His pass for Stevens, who is checked. Trottier in there, looking for the loose puck. Trottier takes a shot, a weak one that was stopped by John Van Beesbroek. Tim Kerr out of his own zone for the Rangers. Crisscrosses with Randy Gillen. His partner headed for the bench, and Kerr lost the puck, and Phil Bourque takes it. Bourque gets around Jan Eriksson, turned around at center. Hardy to Patrick, and out come the Rangers. Mike Gardner flies through the middle, shoots. Young makes the save, and the rebound is taken quickly by Gord Roberts. Shot off the glass around on the boards to Jaromir Jagr. Paul Stanton moves up, passes ahead to Phil Bourque. The play's outside. 4-0, the Rangers lead here. And let's check into that game between Minnesota and St. Louis. Here's Jim Van Horn. Minnesota North Stars against the Detroit Red Wings. The first game of the Campbell Conference semifinals. We'll show you that 7:30 Eastern time on Saturday, and we'll be back here on Sunday night at 7:30 Eastern for the first game of this battle of the Hudson River between the Rangers and the New Jersey Devils.
And then back to Detroit, and then back to New York, and then back to Minnesota, and then back to New Jersey. Looking forward to it. Should be some great hockey.
Ken Wregget and Wendell Young completed a change on the fly with Mark Messier leading a 3-on-1 as they did it. That was wild. There's an icing call against the New York Rangers.
You got to really be careful, Jim, when you're calling this play-by-play when you say saved by Wregget or saved by Young.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, sure.
Usually take for granted that one guy will stay in goal. That's helped to turn this meaningless game into an interesting affair.
And that's a good point. Scotty Bowman has done his job of making this into a very interesting game.
Rick Tockett. Centering pass. That was off Yager for Stevens. Stevens trying to keep the play onside and does. Brian Leach took the puck. Yager. As Leach couldn't clear it. Van Beesbrook way out of his net. Puts the puck up the boards to Nemchinov. John Erickson in the middle to Brian Leach, moving up on the play. Leach not content to stay at 100, wants to make sure he gets another one, and he moved up on the play, but now he's caught. Here's Stevens coming back with Tockett. All the Rangers back. Good pass to Jim Pack, who moved up late. Pack holds on around the net. Stevens in front. The pass was knocked down by John Van Beesbrook as Jim Pack tried to slip the puck out front. And the Rangers ice the puck. 11:21, the time remaining in the third period. This Molson Canadian Hockey telecast is coming to you live from New York.
Domino's Pizza may very well be the best tasting pizza in the whole world. Domino's Deluxe Pizza Feast, $9.99. 2 for $14.99. Experience the deal.
His toy has stopped.
My truck, Mom.
Now he started. You run to the junk drawer for a battery, but which ones are good? You'd know with the copper top tester. It's absolutely free. Only from Duracell.
So the first period featured 16 minutes in penalties. The second period was a chippy affair and featured 104 minutes in penalties, and there hasn't been a penalty in the third.
And this third period has featured Scott Bowman and his dancing goaltender.
Yes. Leach unassisted at .226, the only goal in the third. And 100th point of the season. Messier took a drop pass from Amonte. Adam Graves is back after being banished in the second period and reunited with his line mates Amonte and Messier. Wendell Young out of his net, not to make a change, but to shoot the puck up the boards. Messier in front for Amonte, and he couldn't put the puck in. Went off the heel of his stick, it appeared. Here's Bob Airy. Gary Herdina. Joe Mullins with them as they gain the blue line for the Penguins. Cleared to the boards by James Patrick. Herdina and Gord Roberts keep it in. Airy's out front. Gord Roberts in behind the net. Looking around. In front of the goal. Knocked away by Mark Hardy to the boards. Tony Amonte. His pass for Messier. Intercepted by Roberts, who is back at center. Over the blue line. Bob Airy on the right wing after the puck. And as he touches it, the play is called offside.
There we go.
This time they'll make the change.
You know, this isn't a bad idea, Jim, for minor hockey. You think of the problem always over the past has been developing more goaltenders. And maybe in minor hockey, both goaltenders, two goaltenders on a team get to play evenly like this through a game. It makes it more entertaining. You don't want to have to sit there on a bench for a whole game as a kid.
No, why get all dressed up and go out and sit on the bench all day when you only get an hour of ice time, maybe only an hour a week.
Exactly.
Hey, good idea, Greener.
Yeah, well, every now and then they surprise you.
We're halfway through the third period. The Rangers leading 4-0. Paul Stanton off the faceoff takes a shot on John Van Beesbrook. He's been a great goalie since the 23rd of February. Hasn't lost. There's a shot by Sean McEachern, and he holds on. John has an 8-game unbeaten streak, 7-0-1. In the last 7 games, he's had 6 one-goal games and a shutout.
And if he was to get another shutout here tonight, regardless of how Richter has played against the New Jersey Devils, I just don't think that you can all of a sudden take Van Beesbrook out of playing. That's
pretty hard not to start the playoffs with him. Here's a 2-on-1 for the Rangers. Turcotte has the hat trick. And another milestone as Darren Turcotte gets to 30 goals on the season.
Been a good night for Turcotte. He picked that spot perfectly. Right up, top corner, glove side. Wregget came way out, cut down the angle. But a good wrist shot on the part of Darren Turcotte fooled Wregget.
26 last year, 32 the year before, and now a 30-goal season for Turcotte, and that ice is littered with hats, just like old times. The hat trick and all the hats come down from the rafters to the ice.
Quite a variety out there, too.
Well, you really got to like a guy to toss a hat on the ice these days, because they don't come cheaply. It's not like they're all $2 caps.
And some of them probably have still got the price tag on, too. Because, you know, that's the in thing, Huey.
Is it? How would you know anything about what the in thing is?
Lay off, Huey. Take a look at Darren Turcotte's shot from that angle, folks.
What a great shot. He was on the bench talking to Chris King and showing him just how much room he had with his hands apart, and you can see in the replay he did have some room and found it.
Goalie Campbell's having a pretty good chuckle about something down there.
Number 3 for Darren Turcotte. Just checking to see if he had any other hat tricks this season. I don't think so. Nope. First of the year, the last game of the season. 5-0 Rangers.
Roger Nielsen just handed him something. I'm not quite sure what it was, but it sure broke Darren Turcotte up. And he just threw it away.
A night of milestones as the Rangers take a 5-0 lead. And the goal comes at 10:07 of the third period. Domi kept the puck in, but only for a moment. Roberts to Jaromir Jagr. Into the middle. Loney's backhander stopped by Van Beesbroek. Roberts trying to keep the play on side, or Stanton, excuse me, but the play is stopped. And it looks like there'll be penalties. Ty Domi was involved again. Curious, isn't it? Did he get somebody else in the penalty box or go himself this time?
Today, Pepsi announced a new slogan. Mere words? Or is the taste of Pepsi so big, America's really got to have it?
Gotta have it. It's something I felt for years, but never had the words to express.
If it's so popular, how come everybody's drinking it?
Henry's only regret is that he started drinking Pepsi this late in life.
The phrase, gotta have it, strikes a chord deep in the human psyche.
Now that everybody's gotta have it, Pepsi's not gonna need celebrity endorsers anymore.
And that's what I've been saying all along.
Well, after 3 times goading an opponent into taking a penalty against him tonight, Ty has taken a penalty on his own. A roughing minor at 10:45 to put the Penguins on the power play. Pittsburgh's 0 for 3 with the man advantage tonight.
Ty was getting pretty good at goading the Penguins into taking penalties while the Rangers went on the power play, but this time it didn't quite work.
The official scoring play on Turcotte's 30th. Gardner and Leach drew the assists at 10:07. 4th career hat trick for Darren Turcotte. Bouncing puck got over the glass.
Well, I don't think Scotty Bowman will get too upset over this loss tonight.
Coaches always seem to worry a little bit about whether or not their team can flick the switch and have everything going when playoffs start, but this is not an unproven team anymore. This team has been to the Stanley Cup Finals. They know what it takes to win in the playoffs, so they'll be ready Sunday.
And the fact that he scratched Larry Murphy and Dolph Samuelson, I think, shows that this wasn't a key game by any means in their eyes, even at getting this team ready as a unit.
Tom Barrasso had played the game against New Jersey right after the strike and played last night against Washington and played well, so he just let him sit out and have a rest tonight.
You got 3 of your starting 6 not even playing.
Yeah. Well, Mario Lemieux, I suppose in a pinch had this game been really meaningful to the Penguins, he might have played today.
Good well.
At least the Penguins indicated he was well enough too, but thought that best to rest him again. Stevens with a centering pass, and that's knocked away. Sergei Nemchinov has the puck.
And Tocchet and Yager collided. Yager went sprawling onto the ice.
Tocchet tonight has played with total disregard for his fragile jaw after breaking it, and he's been told by the doctors to wear that mask that covers his chin. And he got in a fight tonight to hurt himself and his team. Had he been cracked on the jaw and knocked out of action again. Ian Messier fight on the boards for the puck. James Patrick gets it and gets some help from Adam Graves to move it out to center. Graves headed for the net, just missed. That's Wregget in goal now. And there'll be a penalty called as Graves headed for the net and was hooked back. 23 seconds left in the penalty to Domi, and now the teams will be even because Francis is going to the penalty box for Pittsburgh.
I know, I'm an adult. I should eat a nutritious cereal. But there's this part of me that wants great taste. Grow up. What about fiber? Fiber, schmiber, go for taste. Taste? I've got to think about fat, salt, wimp.
Wait, there's mini wheats from Kellogg's. For the adult in you, whole wheat fiber, low in fat, no added salt. And for the kid in you, mini wheats has a delicious light frosting.
So make the mature choice. Go for taste. Yes.
Get it together with mini wheats from Kellogg's.
Age-old problem, Greener. You want to put a forward on the point in the power play. He's got to play defense once in a while, and Francis took a penalty hooking back Adam Graves, who got a great shorthanded chance.
You see that so often. Without question, the weakness of a forward on the point on a power play.
There's a gift for Messier. He decides to go for a skate. His team will soon be on the power play. Ty Domi's penalty is about to expire. And when it does, the Rangers will be on their 7th power play of the night. They're 2 for 6, and Ty Domi's out on it. Here's Messier. Domi heads for the net. The pass. Great save by Ken Wregget. And he robbed that noted sniper, Ty Domi.
Well, Messier sure set him up beautifully, and Ty Domi knows it. But Domi got off a good shot. In his credit, once he received that pass, and he took it well, he let it go quickly. Wregget just made a great save.
Sure did. Here it is again.
Messier with his head up all the way, knows exactly where Ty Domi is, and then had to put that puck right over top of the Penguins defenseman.
What a pass. Beautifully feathered over the stick, landed flat. Gave Ty every opportunity to get a good shot away. Now Messier won a draw. His team on the power play for the next minute, 25 seconds. Turcotte to Messier. Blasts his shot, and he missed the net. Now there's a scrap going on, and it's Turcotte and Jennings. Excuse me, Graves, number 9, not number 8. Adam Graves and Grant Jennings, and they're just holding on here. Oops, they were.
Surprised that these teams have been so upset at each other in the second and third period especially, well, the second period especially. But in a game that's way out of hand, 5-0 now, and really meaningless to either club.
All around the league, everyone seemed to come back from the strikes early.
Too much rest,
I guess.
Number 3 of Pittsburgh, Greg Jennings, receives 2 minutes for high sticking and 5 minutes for flagrant.
Now, while we do the paperwork on this little scrap, let's have an update from St. Louis. Jim?
After Philippe Bozon scored his first of his NHL career, Bob Basson sets up Dave Christian for his 20th of the season. This game is being controlled now by the Blues. They lead the Minnesota North Stars 3-0 midway through the second. Back to New York, Jimmy.
Hey, maybe some of these guys are a little surly because they found out what it was like to be Mr. Mom all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You found that out, didn't you, pal?
I loved every second of it. In fact, I was thinking of asking Mr. Ziegler if we could take 2 weeks off before the playoffs every year. The extra penalty goes to Grant Jennings. 2 for high sticking, 5 each to Graves and Jennings for the scrap. And the Penguins are 2 men short.
You found out why they call it the terrible twos, don't you?
Oh,
or didn't
my. Yes.
I wonder at times that some of those bombs don't go on straight.
Messier to Brian Leach. 5 Rangers against 3 inside the blue line. Turcotte faked the shot, passed it into Messier. Kerr's in front of the goal. Gartner at the side of the net. And the puck is cleared and got up on the Pittsburgh bench. 6:37 left in the third period. 5-0 Rangers, and they have a 2-man advantage.
The biggest task the Washington Capitals are going to have is checking the scores, and there are plenty of them on the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that is going to be one tough assignment. It's fine. Dale Hunter could tackle or do whatever he does when he checks players like Mario Lemieux, but there are a lot of big scorers on the Pittsburgh Penguins to try and stop.
Oh, yeah, but Washington's got 3 good lines that can score too.
An interesting series and probably a long one.
Messier to Turcotte, let the puck go to Leach. Turcotte. Kerr in front. Samuelson's got his hands full with him. Messier at the side of the net. The pass was too hot to handle. Yuri Hrdina gets a chance to clear the puck, and does. 35 seconds left in the initial New York penalty, or Pittsburgh penalty to Francis, and 1:10 to go in the extra minor to Jennings. Gartner with a drop pass to Mark Messier. Back on the point. He split the defense. Messier over to Leach. Feeds Tim Kerr. Room to gain the blue line. Pass to Gartner. The puck went off his stick. Kerr, centering pass. Knocked down in front of the net by Paul Stanton, and he carries the puck out. Drives it in wide of the net. Not only do the Rangers have a power play here with which to work, trying to add to their lead of 5-0, but they kill time for John Van Beesbrook. 5.5 minutes from his 3rd shutout of the season. Puck's out of play with 5:24 left in the 3rd. Sergei Nemchinov, been a great addition. He can't be the Rookie of the Year because he's 28 years old. The Soviet Union, a great skater. Started playing with the national team in 1984. He's got a lot of experience at a very high level of hockey.
And his defensive abilities as well make Roger Nielsen a happy coach. Even though Roger has changed his style dramatically this year. I was teasing Roger and Wayne Cashman, his assistant coach, about the short little travel they're going to have in this first round. And Cashman said, yeah, but it's the 40 minutes of the most dangerous highway in the whole world.
Puck just drifted wide of the net, occupied by Ken Wregget. Nemchinov to the point. James Patrick into the middle. Nemchinov has Erickson out front. Amonte is out in this power play as well. James Patrick now. Over to Brian Leach. Back to Patrick. Side of the net. They score! Sergei Nemchinov. Beauty.
Players on the Rangers team have really adopted Nemchinov well this year. They like him. And Ty Domi, in fact, happens to be one of his best friends. That's an interesting combination. But when Nemchinov got possession of that puck, as he did right here on this pass, look at the way that he put his whole body right into that shot. He put so much of it in that he went sprawling onto the ice after that shot. Well worth it, though.
He joins Turcotte as a 30-goal scorer tonight, and the Rangers have 5 30-goal scorers now. I'm sure coming into this game they didn't think they'd end up with that. But Turcotte and Nemchinov have got there tonight. Leach gets an assist. Patrick assists as well at 15:06 on the power play. The Penguins 1 man short, so they're even strength now, and the Rangers lead 6-0. Wendell Young back in goal for Pittsburgh now. Kicked the puck out. Nothing New York. Here's Jaromir Jagr. Paul Stanton to the front of the net. Wide of it now. Chris King trying to clear the puck. Can't move it outside the blue line. Trottier kept it in. Gord Roberts. Centering pass. They score! There goes the shutout. Penguins score 16:06 into the third.
Those tricky old backhands. Took John Van Beesbrook's shutout away from him.
Tipped in by Stevens.
It was. Stevens was standing right on the goal crease. Not in it, but right on top of it. And watch, Roberts, when he used that backhand, when he was off balance, put it on the net. But it was tipped in.
That'll be Stevens' 54th from Roberts and Trottier. 16:06, and for Trottier, assist number 899 of his career. So no shutout tonight for John Van Beesbrook, but he still leads 6-1. Here's Phil Bourque with a centering pass. Loose puck in front. Backhand shot off the post. Now the Penguins have come alive offensively. Scored one and looking for another. Puck's in front of the net. Mark Hardy cleared it. By the way, the Rangers set another record tonight. Many milestones this evening with the 6th goal. They set a club record for most goals in a season, 320. Sean McKecker takes a shot wide of the net. Bob Airy on the left wing in front of the goal. Cleared away by Jay Wells, but back come the Penguins. Gord Roberts in deep. Centering pass, and out come the Rangers. 3-on-1 with Roberts trapped, trying to come back. Tie again, this time Messier shot. Wendell Young made the save. Ty Domi was going hard to the net on the 2-on-1, but Messier chose to shoot this time. Minutes to play in the game. Turcotte dumps the puck in deep. Bob Airy out on the right wing for the Penguins, into the middle to Jaromir Jagr. Yuri Hrdina back for Jagr. Can't get a shot away. Jay Wells steered him aside, and Van Beesbrook covers up. 2 minutes, 2 seconds left in the game. 6-1 Rangers on this Molson Canadian hockey telecast.
Domino's Pizza may very well be the best tasting pizza in the whole world. Domino's Deluxe Pizza Feast, $9.99. 2 for $14.99. Experience the deal.
The classic definition of what it means to be Canadian is as follows. You must be clean, cold, and crisp. Because this is what beer's all about.
Hasn't been a full house, but it's been quite a party here tonight, hasn't it? The Rangers presented with the President's Trophy before the game. They'll finish first overall in the National Hockey League for the first time in 50 years. Ryan Leach got to 100 points. 30 goals for Turcotte, Nemchinov, a club record for goals scored in a season. All in the tune-up to the Stanley Cup playoff. Start for the Rangers on Sunday. Mike Gardner around behind the net. The wraparound. He scores!
Backhands and wraparounds are always difficult. Mike Gardner with good speed right around behind the net. And that caused problems for Wendell Young. Young tried to argue that it didn't go in, but you'll see, as did we, that there's no question that puck went in. You know, maybe it's at the point right now that Wendell Young is maybe a little tired of jumping over the boards and coming back and forth as many times as he has in this game.
It was a novelty at first. Another milestone tonight as Mike Gartner gets his 40th goal of the season, the 8th time he's scored 40 or more goals in the National Hockey League. Patrick gets the only assist at 18-13. And so the score is New York 7, Pittsburgh 1. Here's Gartner looking for 41. Spins. Look at all the room. Stopped by Young.
It opened right up for him. He couldn't even believe it. Mike Gartner was all alone in the slot.
Just under a minute to go. Rangers will meet New Jersey starting Sunday. We'll show you that game as our playoff coverage begins. Pittsburgh will go to Washington and look for better things than they got tonight. 30 seconds to go, and these fans who so badly want a cup for Manhattan are on their feet cheering the Rangers. A club record 50th win for the Rangers. The President's Trophy, 100 points for Brian Leach. A hat trick for Darren Turcotte. A team record for most goals in a season. Another one-goal game for John Van Beesbroek, whose unbeaten streak is up to 8. All in a night's work. And now the playoffs begin, and it all goes for naught. The final score, the Rangers 7 and Pittsburgh 1. We'll be back with the Molson 3 Stars in a moment.
Introducing the all-new Hyundai Elantra. A sleek, sporty family sedan with room enough for 5, a long list of standard features, and a 16-valve double overhead cam engine. And right now, for a limited time, Elantra comes with free automatic. All from an incredible $9,995. The new Elantra from today's Hyundai.
Super crisp, super spirals. McCain, what have you done to my fries? We've spiced them up. All right. We've crisped them up. Brilliant. We've even curled them up. Excellent. McCain has taken its famous super fries, dipped them in light batter, and surrounded them with bite after bite of crispy, crunchy, super spicy satisfaction. Straight ahead or curled around. New super crisps and super spirals from McCain. You'll love what we've done to your fries.
Listen, Smith, you want to make it in this corporation, you got to give up your weekends. You got to push.
All right, Missy, pull it over. It's people like you that give late.
Hey, baby, are you gonna hog the coat forever, huh?
Just one more.
Hey, baby, you gonna hog the coat forever?
Life is short. Play hard. Reebok.
At Thrifty Car Rental, we know traveling on business has its good points and its bad points, its ups and its downs. So to make those trips a little less hectic, we at Thrifty offer an extensive choice of vehicles at remarkably reasonable rates. Because no matter how much money you make...
You all set, Mr. Goodsey?
It is, after all, your money.
The Molson Boston, 3 stars in New York. A Ranger sweep. Center Darren Turcotte gets the hat trick in a 30-goal season. He's star number 1. The second star, New York goaltender John Van Beesbrook, just 1 late goal got by. Just 2 goals in his last 8 games. And the third star, Ranger defenseman Brian Leach, 1 goal and 3 assists. That's 102 points on the season. The Rangers are impressive in a 7-1 victory over Pittsburgh. Live from New York, this is the NHL Tonight on TSN.
Domino's Pizza may very well be the best tasting pizza in the whole world. Experience the taste, delivered in 30 minutes or less. Guaranteed.
Announcing Fido-Rama, your chance to win a limited edition escort. Just look under the cap of specially marked 7-Up and Diet 7-Up to collect the names of 7 cities, and you could win a Fido escort.
Once the game has started, it's time to find a waiter and find the best seats in the house. Many use friendly conversation, but speed and agility are also necessary to move up to a better view, closer to the screen. And for the best seats in the house, whatever the house, head for the Molson Canadian Hockey Connection. Just call the Molson Canadian fan phone, and you could win our best seats to an NHL game. Listen to your station for details.
Domino's Pizza may very well be the best tasting pizza in the whole world. Domino's Deluxe Pizza Feast, $9.99. 2 for $14.99. Experience the deal.
Tonight's TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Armor All. Back to the second period, the Rangers opened a 2-goal lead. Mike Gartner got his 500th career assist. The pass to the side of the Pittsburgh goal. Darren Turcotte cruises in for his first of 3 on the night to give the Rangers a 2-0 advantage en route to an easy win over the Penguins. A cash donation of the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of coaches in amateur sport will be made on behalf of TSN and Armor All. Car Cleaner, the one safe and effective solution for all your car cleaning needs. Now to Toronto and Jim Van Horn.
Thank you, John. Last time we checked in on the St. Louis Blues and Minnesota North Stars, the Blues were leading by a score of 3-0, but the Minnesota North Stars have scored 1 goal before the end of the second period. It came from defenseman and rookie Darian Hatcher. He winds up from the top of the faceoff circle and lets one go. It hits the St. Louis defender and goes in past Curtis Joseph for Hatcher, his 7th of the season in the second intermission now. The Blues on goals from Hull, his 70th, Bozon and Christian lead Minnesota by a score of 3-1. 2 other games just getting underway. In the first period, Winnipeg and San Jose are goalless. They are just starting that game in San Jose, the last game of the season for the Sharks, and the Calgary Flames are also wrapping up their season tonight with a game in Vancouver taking on the Canucks. That game, as I mentioned as well, just getting underway. It is goalless in the first period of play. That's the story from Toronto. Let's now take you back to John Wells to wrap things up.
All right, Jim, a team record 50 wins in the season. The New York Rangers are definitely ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs, and the pressure will build in Manhattan for the Rangers to go all the way after 52 long years. The Pittsburgh Penguins will open defense of their Stanley Cup championship of last year on Sunday night against the Washington Capitals, and Mario will be back. Just ahead on the Sports Network, stay with us for Sports Desk. Teresa Hergert and Gord Miller with all the stories, scores, and highlights at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And Saturday, the playoffs do begin. Game 1 of the North Division semifinal as the North Stars take on the Red Wings at Joe Louis in Detroit, 7:30 Eastern. Then Sunday, we're back here at Madison Square Garden for the first ever playoff meeting between the Rangers and the Devils. Also a 7:30 start for the Patrick Division semifinal. The final in New York this night, Rangers over the Penguins 7-1. I'm John Wells. For everyone in the NHL tonight, good night from New York. Bolson NHL Tonight on TSN. Brought to you by Bolson Canadian, what beer's all about. By Pepsi. Gotta have it.
by Domino's Pizza of Canada. Experience the Domino's effect.
You're watching TSN, the sports network.
Due to the length of the previous program, we now join scheduled programming already in progress.
He's at the 8th and 9th, brought him into a tie for the lead with his friend and mentor. Raymond's lessons were paying dividends for the world's best, which in turn put pressure on the usually steely-eyed veteran. Floyd's bogeys at 10 and 12, combined with Fred's seemingly routine up and down at 10, left Raymond's future in Fred's hands. Hands that were trembling.
Tonight on Sports Desk, New York, New York. The Yankees are not outstanding in their field. But the Rangers are the kings of the NHL's regular season. And Canada's own Richard Zokol makes winning a family affair.
Sports Desk is brought to you by Gillette Sensor for the best shave a man can get, and by Makita Canada Incorporated, Canada's leading manufacturer of professional power tools.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Sports Desk. I'm Gord Miller along with Teresa Hergert. Also coming up, the investigation of Alan Eagleson continues. Dave King's having trouble getting players for the World Hockey Championships. And we'll have the race for NBA playoff spots. But up first, Major League Baseball. The Blue Jays and Yankees hook up